Hey, gorgeous friends, Laurel Bleadon-Maffei here with Illuminating Souls. I'm recording this on Monday morning, May 21st, and let me just start off by sending you a huge wave of love. I'm recording this today to share with you a little bit more about this concept of angelic attunements in celebration of the upcoming Loved Up Angelic Attunements, which starts tomorrow, Tuesday, May 22nd. It was originally supposed to start last week, but we had some family stuff going on, and a loved one was in the hospital, and everything's okay now. But last week was just one of those weeks where life happens, and it was exhausting and beautiful, and took all of my spiritual toolbox, and my earth girl was exhausted, and so just lots of stuff going on. And I had an experience that reminded me of almost when the first seed began to be sown for me with this concept of angelic attunement. So I want to share that with you and share with you a little bit more about, well, what is an angelic attunement? How does it work? So years ago, Wayback Machine, in 2000 is when I went back to school to get a master's degree in spiritual psychology. At the time, I was working a full-time job, and the program that I was in for spiritual psychology, we met one weekend a month. We met Friday nights, and then Saturday from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m., and Sunday from, I think, about 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. So it was a really long weekend. It was wonderful, and it was very immersive, but it also was long. And there would be these times that I would have had a very busy week at work, and I would be exhausted, and then I would have to go into this USM weekend, and I didn't know where I would get the energy from. And I have to say, I was thinking back, and I don't remember where I learned this concept. If I learned it at USM, this would have been before I studied with Doreen Virtue, so I don't believe I received it from her. I may have just intuited it. I don't know where it came from, so I don't know who to give credit to. But especially if it had been the kind of week where I was already feeling depleted. Maybe I felt like a cold was coming on, or just so exhausted, and I had no idea how I would make it through the long weekend of school. What I would do is I would ask spirit. That was the word that I used at the time. You can use God, the universe, the angels, so whatever your vernacular is. I would ask spirit, I would say to spirit, I would say, I am feeling so depleted and I don't have the energy to make it through this weekend. Would you please fill me up with your energy so that I could make it through? And I would have this vision. I would close my eyes, and then I would have this vision of the light just filling up my energy field. And it was almost like I would borrow. I don't know that you can call it borrowing because I didn't have to necessarily give it back, but I would be infused with this influx of energy. And I found that every time I did this, I felt so much better and I had the energy to make it through. And I was reminded of this because last week when my loved one was in the hospital, there was one day I was so exhausted, and it was the kind of exhaustion where everything feels like a big deal. For instance, where I parked my car versus where their hospital room was maybe the equivalent of a long city block. I mean, not terribly long on a regular day, that's nothing, right? But in that moment, it felt like it might as well be miles away. And I asked Spirit to fill me up again. I flashed back on that exercise I used to do, and I said, Spirit, I'm so tired, and I need your energy to help get through. So I got infused with that energy, and I found that when I did that, I could go through my day, and I had the energy to make it through, even when it felt like I had nothing to give of my own. So that's sort of where this idea and this kernel of these attunements, I think, first started working with me. So now fast forward all these years later with Illuminating Souls and the beautiful work that I get to do with you and the beautiful work the angels get to do with us. And it was, I don't remember exactly when it was, maybe about a year ago, 6 months ago, something like that, somewhere around there. I was talking with the angels. I couldn't sleep. Thank you, perimenopause. I couldn't sleep. I was waking up at 3 a.m. every night, and just was feeling so depleted and feeling overwhelmed by life. And I was having a kind of a mental conversation with the angels and with Josephus. And I said to them, I said, when do I get to the part where I live happier ever after? And they said, they always have such a great sense of humor. They said, well, we're not sure how realistic that is, but what if we helped you live happier ever after? And I thought, oh, that's just brilliant. And I said, yes, yes, let's do that. And they said, well, we're going to start by bringing to you the vibration of divine happiness. We're just going to bring this to you. Now, this isn't the first time they've done this, something like this with me, but this is the one that comes forward to share with you. And so as I was laying in bed, they had me sort of imagine, and when I say imagine, this is because the place within us where we receive our divine downloads and um, divine wisdom, divine inspiration overlaps with our imagination. So often the gateway of imagination is the best place to start to begin opening these portals. So they said, imagine, if you will, that we are bringing to you the vibration of divine happiness, and imagine that it is infusing and informing your energy field. So very similar to those days back at USM when I would ask Spirit to fill me up with this bright energy so I could get through the weekend. I imagined my energy field getting influenced, being informed by, being inspired by this pure, gorgeous essence of divine happiness. And what did it feel like? And it may feel like almost pretending perhaps, but you know what? We pretend, we imagine all the time. I love to joke I'm a champion worrier. I worry about things. Well, what is worry but using the imagination to um, to visualize an undesired outcome? And with the example of worrying, I know that when I do that, I trigger chemical impulses in my body, right? The adrenaline, the cortisol levels may begin to shift. I may feel my heart starting to beat a little faster. I may feel my energy starting to contract. So this idea of imagining and connecting with these really potent emotions and energies is not a weird thing. We do it all the time. But in this context, this is about purposefully and intentionally connecting with these pure, beautiful essences that will help inform and inspire us in a positive, powerful way. So that evening, when I couldn't sleep and the angels were bringing to me divine happiness, I felt myself begin to shift. I felt the thoughts that I was having begin to shift. I felt my resourcefulness began to shift. And I woke up the next morning feeling so positive. I was happier. I felt empowered. I felt inspired. I was excited. And so then I started what I did a loved up 4 weeks of happiness because of that. I've also had the same experience with divine vitality, feeling that infusion of vitality coming in. And so this is the context we are going to be working with loved up angelic attunements that starts tomorrow, or maybe a few days after that, whenever you see this video, but it starts on May 22nd. And if for some reason you're seeing this and it's May 23rd or 24th, you can still join us and I'll send you the recording. So we're going to be working with, the first week we're going to be working with um, divine happiness. Let's just dive right into it. You know, the energy has been crazy. I don't know what your life is like. Mine has been a bit challenging. And I could use an infusion of happiness and lightheartedness. And um, after the last week that I had, it's like I could use some nourishment, some energetic nourishment. And then in week 2, we're going to be working with vitality, which again is one of the most powerful attunements that I have received in recent memory. It's the catalyst that is having me inspired to work on my book and do a lot of other things in my life. And then we'll also be working with different attunements for weeks 3 and 4. So if you feel like your light battery could use a jump, a boost, if you feel like you would love to borrow some of that gorgeous angelic energy, you don't actually, you're really not borrowing it, right? It's yours to keep. But if you want to be infused with some of that angelic energy in service to priming your own light battery so you feel more resourceful, you feel more empowered, you feel more inspired, then I invite you to join us. I would love, love, love to share this experience with you. I know I need it. I can't wait for tomorrow night. I can't wait for the angels to come in and feel all that beautiful flow of love and compassion and inspiration coming in. You know, we are influenced by the energies we feel, and this is a way of getting a beautiful, intentional extract of golden light in service to infusing your own beingness. So I send you love, I send you goodness, I send you magic, I send you blessings. And if you're not joining us for this cycle of Loved Up, we'll have another one coming up soon. And if not there, I'll see you on the Illuminating Souls Facebook page or somewhere in this big, bright, beautiful universe of ours. I am so grateful for you. Thank you. Have a blessed day. Bye.